time for objections. So yeah, I agree. Everyone, let's try to slow down.
Okay, let's try it again. I asked you, and I'm asking you why you filed this lawsuit. You told me there were red flags. I asked you to identify the red flags that caused you to file this lawsuit in the first place. Among those red flags, you said were texts, but you've told us that you did not see those texts until after you filed the lawsuit. So my question now is, sir, how could those texts have been a red flag that caused you to file this lawsuit in the first place when you didn't see those texts until after you filed the lawsuit?
Objection. Mischaracterizes the testimony. You can answer.
Well, I think after reviewing the texts, I think I was on the right track.
I appreciate that, but that wasn't my question. My question is why you filed the lawsuit in the first place. What knowledge did you have? What facts, what information did you have at the time you filed the original complaint in this lawsuit that prompted you to do it? And you've mentioned a number of things. So are there any other red flags or facts or information that caused you to file this lawsuit in the first place?
No.
Now, you mentioned those texts, and in fact, I believe you've been present at the depositions of that have been taken in this case after you filed it. Is that true?
No.
Okay, so have you been present for any of the depositions?
No.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned in one of your red flags undue influence. Now, I know. Well, again, let's just confirm. Are you a lawyer?
No.
All right. Now, so you're not a lawyer. I'm not asking you for legal opinions. I'm asking you for your understanding. Did you review the original complaint that was filed on your behalf before it was? And again, don't tell me what you discussed with your lawyers, but did you review that complaint before it was filed?
Yes.
Did you confirm that the allegations in that complaint of yours were true and correct before it was filed?
Yes.
And is that the case with? Are you aware that a First Amendment complaint was filed on your behalf in this case? After that,
I'm not sure.
okay. Are you aware that there was what's called a Second Amendment complaint filed in this case after your first two complaints?
Not sure.
All right.
He even answers questions like Tom. Tom could be very simple, short answers. They have the same. Was the dad like that?
Let me share screen. All right. Can everybody see this document that I'm sharing? It says amended complaint. At the top, it's got a date of June 6, 13, 23, or June 13th, 2023. Everybody see that?
Zoom in a little bit, maybe.
Well, I will, but can everybody see the document before I do that? Especially Mr. Cotton. Can you see it? Did I miss an answer?
I'm reading it. Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay. So this was the First Amendment complaint that was filed last June. Let me show you. Here's the Second Amendment complaint, which has the date of October 16, 2023 at the top. You see that, sir? So I'm showing you the first page of it.
Yes.
Right. can scroll through as much. In fact, let me go to the end. So there's the end of it. I'll zoom in a little bit. As the date of October 16th, 2023. And again, let me know if you need me to scroll through more of it. But did you read this Second Amendment complaint before it was filed on your behalf by Mr. Fowler and his law firm?
Yes.
Did you confirm that the allegations in this complaint were true and correct?
Yes.
So, and I can show you the, actually, get out.
Okay.
Let's stop the share so we can see each other better. But we can
Oh my
go
God.
back
We
into
can, like,
that
do that for 20
if you
minutes.
want. Just let me know. But
No problem.
So
in the
excessive
complaint,
with everything.
you
You still have gum disease.
you allege that
You still have gum disease, don't you?
a May 2022 trust of your brothers, Tom Cotton, and a June 2022 trust of your brothers, Tom Cotton, are both invalid because of undue influence upon your brother by my client, Dio Rugo, and by Robert Markopoulos. Are you aware that those claims are being made on your behalf?
Yes.
And in fact, you mentioned undue influence as one of those red flags. So can you, without giving me a legal opinion, can you tell me your understanding and belief as to why undue influence was exercised upon your brother, Tom Cotton, with respect to those two trusts?
Objection. You can.
Well, I believe my brother wasn't in his right mind, cognate. I believe because he wasn't. When I was at dinner with him in over at Joe's Steakhouse over in Kissimmee, he just wasn't all there together. And after, seeing my wife go through the same thing, and her last 6 or 7 weeks, she didn't make a lot of sense either. And I believe that your client maybe influenced them. That's my belief.
Okay. Any other information that you have to support your belief that either Dio or Robert Markopoulos unduly influenced Mr. Thomas Cotton with respect to those two trusts?
No. I said form objection. You can answer.
No.
Other than what you witnessed that you've told us about during this meal that you had with Tom at that steakhouse, do you have any other information to support your belief that he wasn't in his right mind?
Well, probably a couple weeks after that, I couldn't get a hold of him.
How did you try to get a hold of him? I'm sorry, did I miss an answer?
Telephone.
Telephone? Okay, telephone. How many times did he have a cell phone, Tom?
I called the cell phone
Okay. And how many times did you try to reach him on his cell phone?
a few times.
What, and he didn't call you back?
No, but when I did the day that the phone call I did get was from his cell phone from Christopher Turbo, informing me that my brother had 3 hours to live, and then he texted me over the address that came from my brother's phone.
Well, so I can try to put this timeline together. When were you unable to reach Tom on his phone that you were just telling us about in relation to the call you got from Chris Thurber on his phone?
I probably tried to call him maybe a couple weeks after we had dinner, and then I called him a few more times, but that's not uncommon with Tom because he's busy all the time. And I had no idea he was as sick as he was, and he was in hospice.
Did you ever exchange texts with Tom?
No, we always talked on the phone.
Are you saying you did not ever have any texts with Tom Cotton? Never?
No,
I'm sorry?
no,
You certain about that? Are you certain about that, sir?
I'm pretty sure I never texted.
Well, did he ever text you?
No, we just talked on the phone.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
When did you say that dinner, was it a dinner, by the way, that you had with Tom and Kissimmee at was it Joe's Steakhouse, I think you said?
Yes.
And when was that?
About the second week of May.
Are you sure that's when you had that dinner?
Yes.
Any other information that you have to support
Where you
your
have his
belief that
Kissimmee.
Tom was not in his right mind at the time? You know, that
He wasn't there.
well, let me strike that. Any other
That must
information
come
you
up right
have
before his birthday in March.
that supports your belief that Tom was not
The
in
week
his right
before.
mind in May and June
Last time
of
Tom was in that door, or
2022?
anywhere, whatever.
Objection.
With you, that night.
You know what? Let me. That's a fair objection. Do it one at a time.
That
Who-
was-
who was
Do you have any
thinking
other
about
information to support your belief that Tom Cotton was not in his right mind on May 28, 2022?
No.
Do you have any other information to support your belief that Tom Cotton was not in his right mind on June 1st, 2022?
Objection.
No.
Did well, let's put a hold on that. In paragraphs 56 and 66 of your complaint, which I can show you if you'd like, you state that Diaz and Robert Markopoulos' actions led to, quote, over-persuasion, duress, force, coercion, or artful or fraudulent contrivances to such a degree that there was a destruction of the free agency or willpower of Tom with respect to those two trusts. I'm going to take these one at a time. Do you have any information other than what you've, well, let me strike that. Do you have any information to support your, any contention that Dio, or I'm going to call him Robert, committed duress on Tom with respect to those two trusts?
Text messages.
What text messages are you referring to?
Acropolis, Robert, and Diaz.
Okay. Anything else? Any other information to support that belief?
No.
Do you have any information to support the contention that Dio or Robert used force on Tom to get Tom to execute those, either or both of those two trusts?
No.
Do you have any information to support a contention that Dio or Robert conducted fraud, committed fraud with respect to getting Tom to execute either or both of those two trusts?
Objection. Answer.
No.
And then in paragraphs 58 and 68 of your current complaint, you state that Dio and Robert, quote, so controlled the mind of Thomas and dethroned his free agency that the trusts were products of their mind and not the mind of Thomas. Do you have any information, facts, anything to support that contention other than what you've already told us this morning?
Objection.
No.
Do you know the date that Tom died?
Yeah, June 28th.
Mm-mm.
In fact, it was June 26th, I believe. No?
I thought it was the 28th. It could be the 26th. I mean,
And I believe we established this,
Okay,
but
back
just
for you.
to be clear, Tom Cotton was your
What is
brother,
wrong?
right?
yes.
gonna do with
Did you
that?
and Tom
Well,
ever have any
where am I gonna
other
put that?
sibling?
Outside on your patio.
Tom had a twin
Are you
brother,
looking for
Tim,
it tomorrow?
Huh?
and another
Are
brother,
you looking
Jack,
for it
and
tomorrow?
a sister,
Yeah.
Paula.
Yeah,
All
wouldn't you?
deceased.
No,
Yeah, you do.
I'd be a
Do you know if any of
preacher.
them had any
Yeah.
children?
My sister Paula had a daughter. Her name's Jessica.
Is that the Jessica that's named in the trust?
Yes.
Did Tom's siblings have any other children or grandchildren other than Jessica?
No.
Tell me about your relationship with Tom over the years. I guess let's start from the beginning. Did you two grow up together?
Yes.
So were you together until you left for the Marines?
Yes.
But who was the older of the two of you?
I am.
So about how old was Tom, if you recall, when you left for the Marines?
I'm about 3 years older than he is. 3.5 years.
All right, so he was probably still in, sounds like he was probably still in high school then you left.
Yes.
So growing up, describe for me your relationship with Tom, your brother.
Just a regular family, you know, growing up. Did all kinds of stuff together, you know, as a family.
Were both of your parents alive at the time you left for the Marines?
Yes.
Did you share the same mother and father with Tom?
Yes.
Who's your mom? Was.
Louise Cotton.
When did she pass? Is she still alive?
No.
When did she pass?
About 40 years ago.
Was that before you left for the Marines?
After.
Can I get you anything, ma'am?
I'm good, thanks.
Ah, thank God. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
I can't do anything.
What's
with
your
one.
father's name?
that. Oh, that's right.
John.
Is he alive?
No.
When did he pass?
About 10 years ago.
So that'd be about 2014 or so?
Somewhere around there.
Are you talking about Tim?
How about after you left for the
I
Marines?
don't know.
What describe your relationship with? Well, let me strike that. Where were you posted when you were in those 4 years you were in the Marines?
I went to Paris Island. Then I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Then I went to Okinawa, Japan. Then I went to Norfolk, Virginia.
I think today I will
And
have
I went to
serious.
San Diego, California, and then back to Norfolk. And,
All right. So, I'm sorry.
and then and Norfolk.
So those all, I believe, are locations in the United States. Is that right?
Now, Camp Hansen was in Okinawa.
Okinawa. Okay. So other than the Okinawa posting, were your postings in the States?
Yes.
So did you
Okay,
see
so
Tom at
you
all
got
while
the,
you were in the Marines?
Mom?
No, I never
You
came
know,
out.
it'll get lost out there.
All right,
I'll
how
forget
about
it
after
and I'll
you
cry.
got
It's like
out?
a
Is
couple
that
other
when you
things
went
too.
to Pompano Beach?
Wait, is that
Well, I
installation
came
on
back to
my
my
No.
father's
That's what I
house
said.
in Hollywood,
either
Florida.
water or
Tom
they
was
taste
living-
fried, which is-
Tom was living there. I stayed there for a few weeks until I got on my feet and found a place, but Tom lived there at my parents' house.
Will
So
meal service
now
be provided, or do I need to make my
is this
lunch?
in the late 70s?
We're going for tacos
Yes.
after?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, okay.
did you and Tom both live in South Florida at that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, Tom lived with me over on when I was over on Powerline. You know, he lived in an apartment complex off of Powerline. He lived with me for about probably 3.5 months before he saved up enough money to get a place of his own.
But when he got a place of his own, was that still in South Florida?
Yes, Pompano. Well, he moved over somewhere. I don't remember the address.
How long did the two of you both live in South Florida at that time frame?
I lived there for about probably 4.5, 5 years, and then I went up north.
How about Tom? Was he still in South Florida when you went up north?
Yeah, Tom's always been in South Florida.
All right. So during that time, that 5 years or 5 years or so period, while you were both in South Florida, how often did you see Tom?
Once every 2 or 3 months.
What
Close
was
loving one.
Tom doing back then?
Well,
Work-wise.
Well, he worked for a company that was a coffee distributor, and in the meantime, he was working on Top Cat cleaning, getting cleaning jobs and stuff like that until he, had enough clientele where he went full time with Top Cat cleaning.
Top Cat Cleaning, that was his company.
You should text your friend
Yes.
Brian here and say, hey, Tom never went to Mount Dora.
How about after you
That's not how it
went up
works.
north? How often
You were here,
generally
huh?
did you see
What's
Tom
that?
after that?
But you
I
were
probably,
here.
after I first got up there, it was all new to me. I was looking for a job and
I
place
guess
to
I'm too
live and all
serious
that
in the
other
morning.
stuff. It was probably, I
Silliness
probably
doesn't
didn't
start
talk to him
till
for 4 or 5 months.
How about after that, after you got settled?
No, we usually talk every, 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that.
What, by phone?
Yes.
So how would you describe we'll strike that. Was that the nature of your relationship then for the period of time that you were up north?
No,
I'm sorry, say again?
no.
Okay, how did your relationship with Tom change then? After
No,
that?
we'd go on trips, golf trips, fishing trips. I'd arrange. We went to Myrtle Beach. We went to
Caymans.
down to the Caribbean. We went up to Thousand Islands up on the Canadian side. We were active vacation. Then I would come down to Florida and play golf. And usually my brother Tim was there. My brother
Mount Dora, never South Florida.
Tom and my dad. And then we'd go to Georgia all the time where my dad lived. And
So
that,
what?
that
I'm
was
sorry.
probably 4 or 5 times a year
4 or 5 times a year. What?
that we got together on different trips, different places.
Was
Carol
Mount Dora
and I would come down to South Florida
Oh.
probably 4 or 5 times a year.
Oh,
So how long in terms of years was that the nature of your trips and visits with Tom that you just described? Did that continue up until the time of his death?
Yes.
So
Probably.
you saw. I'm sorry.
I didn't know you were. I thought you were done talking.
No, I understand. So finish your thought.
No, we did this over a period of the last 20 years.
Did the frequency of those trips change
this is where
at
you
any
should
time
get busted.
before Tom's death?
Well,
Did you ever meet Robert Markopoulos?
after
Who?
Carol passed away,
He
my
knows
place.
who I am, I know.
Okay, I would come down to Florida, and I would stay at the condo in Mount Dora. For I spent a couple weeks down there, did some kitchen remodel for him. Then he was looking at, he was talking about selling the place, so he wanted, take out some carpets and stuff like that, and then I had to go back up north, and then when I came back, where he was talking to me about, he was going to bring a crew up, wanted me to manage them to take out the carpets and get new carpets and stuff like that, because he was getting ready to sell.
Okay, let's see if I can help guide this.
It's wrong
Up
with
until
my
the time that you moved back from Pennsylvania, that was Pennsylvania, you said, right? To Florida. Did you see Tom 4 to 5 times per year on average that entire time you were up there?
Yes.
How about when you moved to Lake Wales? Did
Yeah.
the frequency of your visits with Tom change at that point?
Well, I was only in Florida until he about 4 months or 5 months, probably, I'd say less than 6 months before he passed away. And the last time I saw him was at Joe's Steakhouse in May.
Okay. When's the last time you went on a golfing trip? Or strike that. When's the last time you played golf with Tom?
Probably when Carol was still alive. Probably 2020.
Do you recall where you played?
Yeah, Mount Dora Country Club.
Do you know when Tom acquired that Mount Dora condo?
Probably 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
When's the last time? I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Well, prior to him buying the condo, well, we went to Orlando and we stayed at one of the high rises that he maintained. And we rented a place there, and my dad rented. We had two adjoining rooms there. My dad was there, and then we were taking trips over to Mount Dora looking for property because we were going to do a joint property. And then all of a sudden, Tom just went ahead and bought one on his own and told us we could use it whenever we wanted to come down. It was always available. But
You're talking about the
prior to, we used to go down to Fort Lauderdale and stay at the resort that he cleaned over by the Everglades. I don't remember the name of it. We stayed over there. They had a golf course over there, and we played golf over there. And we were only there for 2 days. You know, got a day travel, 2 days playing golf, and a day travel coming back. We never spent more than 4 days in Florida. It was just a weekend getaway out of the snow, out of the cold, out of you know.
Now that we've talked about it a little while, is it still your recollection that the last time you played golf with Tom was in 2020 at Mount Dora?
Yes.
Was anybody else playing golf with you on that trip?
Carol was still living, yeah.
Was Carol a golfer?
Who?
She rode in the car. She played golf, but she wasn't any good, so she just rode in the car.
I understand. That's sort of like
I thought she
me
was dead
when
by
I
then.
go. But all right. So, how about was your dad still alive then, John?
Yes.
Okay. Did you play golf? So I take it then you did not play golf with Tom after your father died. Is that right?
No.
Let me ask it better. Did you play golf with Tom at all after your father died?
No.
When's the last time that you went with Tom to Myrtle Beach?
That was probably about maybe 15, 18 years ago.
Were those family trips?
Yes.
So, did you bring with Carol? I think you said was your wife. Did you bring Carol?
Yes.
What about your dad? Did he go?
Yes.
And Tom? Did Tom bring anybody?
Tim was along.
Tim's your other brother, right?
Yes, this is twin.
Right. Okay. Other than Tim, did Tom bring anybody from his family?
No.
When's the last time you went fishing with Tom?
Oh, ducking.
Probably about 20 years ago.
You say
Anybody
four,
else
four,
on that
20.
fishing trip?
Yeah,
Tom?
my dad and my brother Tim. And we were up in 10,000 Islands on the Canadian side.
When's the last time that you went to the Caribbean with Tom?
That was probably about 15 years ago.
Where in the Caribbean did you go?
Cayman Islands.
We went to played a Jack Nicklaus course. We brought clubs with us. Grand Cayman Island.
Who else, if anybody, was on that trip with you and Tom?
My wife Carol.
Did you and Tom ever go anywhere else in the Caribbean?
No, just at Cayman Islands.
Was that how many times did you and Tom go to the Caymans together?
Just once.
When's the last time you went on any kind of a vacation with Tom?
Probably never went on a vacation, other than going to Myrtle and down the Caribbean. That was it. Our vacations were coming down South Florida to Orlando, and Tom would always meet us up there.
Is he calling Orlando
And then
South
we do
Florida?
other things besides play golf, you know.
Like what? Like what?
Went to dinner, went over to the shows over in Orlando, stuff like that.
Do you know if Tom had any hobbies other than golf?
Hey, what?
Hobbies.
Not really.
Well, you mentioned fishing. Did he fish a lot?
I mean, you know, everybody in South Florida fishes, but I don't know how often he went out and fished.
In your complaint, and again, I can show you if you want, at paragraph 20, you state that you and Tom maintained a loving relationship. So, without duplicating anything you've already told us, is there anything you want to tell us about how to describe your loving relationship with Tom?
I mean,
Gotta hear.
what else is there to add? You know?
I'm asking you. I just want to make sure we've covered it.
Yeah, I mean, if there was dislike in there, I sure wouldn't have been invited to go use his condo.
When's the last time you stayed at the Montdora condo?
I think February before he died.
February of 20. That'd be 2022, right?
I was there for about a week and a half, I think.
He was.
What was? How far is? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. You said you were there for a week and a half, and then you were starting to say something else.
Oh yeah, until I moved over to Lake Wales.
So, had you moved to Lake Wales yet at that time?
Yes.
So why were you staying at? How far is Lake Wales from Mount Dora, if you know?
About an hour and 15 minutes.
So why were you, if you had a place in Lake Wales, why were you staying at the Mount Dora condo?
I was doing, well, I went over to play golf, and I also was remodeling the kitchen.
How far along did you get with that remodel?
I got the appliances in, and then after the appliances, you know, then I had to go over to Lake Wales because that's when I was in the process of moving over there.
So, do you think the Jew knows he's full
So,
of shit?
other than the appliances, and we're talking kitchen appliances, right? Since it's a kitchen remodel.
Yes.
Other than the kitchen appliances, did you do any other remodeling work at the Mount Dora condo?
No, I did repairs.
Like what?
Well, I had replaced all the plumbing in there. When I first got there, he had plumbing leaks that leaked down into the unit below. So I did all the plumbing repairs.
Any other repairs that you did there?
That's when he decided to switch out the appliances.
Did you do any repairs at the Mount Dora condo other than plumbing repairs that you described?
No,
Did you charge Tom for any of those plumbing repairs, parts or labor, or both?
no.
How much did you, if any, did you come out of pocket for parts for the plumbing repairs?
Tom paid.
Well, I paid for the appliances, and he reimbursed me.
We've been doing this about an hour. How you holding up? How's everybody holding up? We good or what?
I'm good. We can go.
Anybody need a break right now? Because we'll take one in probably about 20 minutes or so otherwise.
Right, that's how we leave at 22 minutes, girl.
We all good? Everybody good?
22 minutes. Oh, so on the way
When's the
home,
last
we
time
used
you
to so I could
saw
drop off my
Tom
electric
Cotty,
application
your brother.
because it's a rough part
I
driving.
saw him at Joe's Steakhouse
Where is it?
for dinner
Bay Road.
about the middle of May.
You didn't see him after that at the hospital?
I did see him at the hospital, but when I got the phone call, they had 3 hours to live.
Was,
I wasn't informed that he was in the hospital, that he was on hospice. I wasn't informed of any of
He was
that.
on hospice for
Was
4 or
Tom
5
alive
hours.
when you
Right.
saw him at the
Well,
hospital?
and not only that, I'm the one who said, anybody call his
Barely.
brother?
Was he able
Unsung
to
hero,
communicate with you?
again.
Nope.
Describe his condition for me at that time that you saw him there.
He was just laying in bed.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Well, he was turning gray. And then when the nurse
Leo
came
was
in and
asking
gave the
about
last,
money?
I guess the morphine,
It was him who was
Uh,
asking about the
that was
business,
it.
who got the
He was
house,
gone.
who lived at the house.
Were you present when he passed?
no.
Where were you?
I left to go down to the garage because I had to bring my dog with me, and it was about 102 degrees out, and I wanted to make sure it got water. And by the time I was heading back, he had passed.
So, was your dog in the car?
Yes.
Were you at the hospital
See,
parking
look,
lot?
my cereal's
The
all
garage?
ready to go next time.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
berries, though, or
So,
berries.
so you went. You were visiting Tom. He was lying on the bed, unresponsive. You went to the. Was it a garage or a parking lot?
It's a garage.
Garage. You went to the parking garage to make sure your dog was okay, and then you went back to the room.
I was on my way back to the room, and then I got a phone call stating that he had passed.
Okay. Who told you that Tom was in the hospital in the first place on that last trip?
Well, I got a call from
Leo.
what's that guy's name? Thorough or whatever.
Thurber?
Thurber. I got a call from Thurber at about. Well, he left a message and I called him back about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And then when I spoke to him on the phone, he told me my brother had 3 hours to live. I asked him to give me the address because I was coming down because I had no idea what was going on. You know, he's telling me I had 3 hours to live. That's all I knew. So I had to pack my dog up. I had to pack a bag for myself. I didn't know whether I was going to be there for 1 day, 5 days, or however long I was going to be there. I was just going to get a motel room and, play this whole thing out.
How did Chris Thurber communicate with you when he told you that your brother Tom had 3 hours to live?
Text him.
How did he communicate? He had my brother's cell phone, and my phone came up with my brother's name on it. And when I called it back, when I called my brother's phone number back, that's when Chris Thurbo informed me, that my brother had 3 hours to live. He texted me over the address, and I went down to the hospital. And that's the only communication that I had from any players in this whole thing about my brother. Nobody called me about him being in hospice. Nobody told me about him being in the hospital. His conditions went south. Nobody told me that until 3 hours prior to him. He lived more than 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to get there. But he died, before 6 a.m. in the morning.
You mentioned hospice a couple of times. Is it your understanding that Tom was in hospice?
Yes, because I talked to the nurse.
The hospice nurse?
Well, she was in the hospital. I was talking to her about his conditions, and she wouldn't give me any information because of the HUPA Act or the Hypo Act or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And she was the nurse in charge. And before I went down to see my dog, she was prepping morphine to give my brother.
Did the hospital staff say anything else to you during your time there?
No, there was only one nurse there, and because it was, I guess, late night shift or whatever it was before 6 a.m. And that's all I know.
So, just so I'm clear, did Chris Thurber leave a voicemail on your phone when he was trying to reach you to tell you your brother's time?
Yeah, well, I saw my brother's name come up, and I didn't even look at the message. I just called my brother right back.
So he called you on. Did Chris call you on your? Go ahead.
Assuming I would, his number came up as Tom Cox, so I called him back, assuming it was Tom Cox. It it was Chris Thurba who gave me the information. My brother had 3 hours to live.
So,
Okay.
did,
And
so
that's when he texted me the information, what hospital he was in. So I went over to the hospital, checked in, found out where he was at, and
Full
went up to the
clears.
room. And somebody escorted me up to
Ricardo
the
was
room.
there.
What are you doing?
did you see anyone else
Mind your business.
visiting Tom while you were
You're
there
wearing
at
out
the
your
hospital?
coffee maker?
Yeah, yes. As soon as I
And Brian
the
needs
door,
special
there was
things.
another kid there with Dio. And
We
as
got
soon as
60
I walked in
minutes,
the
so
door,
put it together.
he walked out, and I never saw him again.
Any idea who that is? Who was?
Who is?
If you shut up, don't make noise.
Did I miss an answer?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's all I have.
No, my question was, do you have any idea who that other person was with Theo?
No.
It's not easy being me.
Let me look at something.
Why is it on me?
All right.
They're not speaking.
We've talked about the Mount Dora condo. Do you know where Tom's primary residence was at the time of his death?
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, and was it in Wilton Manors?
Yes.
Had you ever visited the Wilton Manors property?
Yes.
Ah,
When's the last time you visited the Wilton Manors property?
I think it was, we just had his floors put in, and we were down on vacation. And that's probably when it was, after he first bought it.
Do you recall about when that was, even roughly?
I don't remember offhand.
yeah, 2001.
Was that the only time you were there?
No, I was there another time after he had his kitchen put in.
2002. That's 2000.
So, but I thought you said the last. Now I'm a little confused. See if we can help straighten me out. So was the last? I thought you said the last time you were there was shortly after Tom bought it. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay. So were all of your visits then to the Wilton Manors property around the time that Tom bought it?
No.
When was your first visit to the Wilton Manors property?
When he first bought it.
That's what I thought you said was your last visit. So maybe you're just not. We're not.
The first time I visited was after he bought the place, and he just had these flooring put in, and we went over there and looked at it, and then he was showing us the place. There was 3 cottages out there, and he was going to do something with them, rent them out, or whatever he was going to do. And the next time we came down to visit, and we were staying out at the Everglades, out at timeshare places out in the Everglades. And the second time we came there, we went to. He showed us. He had the kitchen remodeled. Brand spanking new kitchen. Showed us that, and we went out to dinner and played golf, and then we headed home. Like I told you before, when we come down to Florida, we're only there for 2 actual days. The other 2 days are travel.
All right. So the first time you were there was shortly after he bought it, and
Mhm.
you looked at the flooring. The second time was after the kitchen remodel. Was there another time that you visited Wilton Manors?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. When was that?
I was down there for probably 4 or 5 days. We stayed at Tom's at Wilton Manor. It was myself, my dad, Tim, and Tom, and my brother Tom. I stayed there. We were
Me
playing
too, not
golf.
Tom.
When did Tim pass?
I'm not exactly sure what dates they were.
Well, to the best of your memory.
In 2011.
Maybe 20 years ago.
So that visit you just told me about with John and Tim and Tom was 20 years ago or so? At least?
No, a little bit longer than that, probably 25 years ago.
So how long ago was the last time, most recent time that you visited the Wilton Manors property?
Maybe 20 years ago.
Any particular reason that you didn't get down that way after that?
Well, I could only afford to go down on vacation when we could afford to. And then when we did go down to Florida, we mainly stayed in Orlando when Tom had the condo there. Well, before the condo, we stayed at the high rises that he managed. I guess we stayed at both places, the one in Orlando and the one down in the Everglades.
Did you ever stay at one of those cottages you mentioned on Tom's Wilton Manors property?
No, they weren't even remodeled or anything. That was just something he taught. He had them rented out, and then he didn't want to become a landlord, so he told me he turned them into an Airbnb.
Do you know if anyone in the last, say, 10 years or so, before Tom died, lived at the Wilton Manors property, whether it was the main building or any of the cottages?
Yeah,
was
Robert.
not Robert?
Robert, and then he had some other roommate that may or may not be Dio. And then he called me up a couple times asking me how to get rid of a roommate because we had apartments, and so we managed apartments. And I told him, well, you have to, get an eviction notice and do whatever you need to do, and that's how you get them out.
9 minutes, buddy.
Do you have any reason to believe that Dio ever lived at the Wilton Manors property?
I have no clue.
You have no clue?
Did Tom ever come to visit you up in Pennsylvania?
Yes,
When's the last time he came to see you in Pennsylvania?
I stopped at my place here, and then we went up to the 10,000 Islands.
So that was, 15 years or so ago, I think you said? You tell me, I don't want to misstate your...
I don't know, maybe 20, 22 years ago.
Any particular reason that he didn't see in the last 20 years or so? Did you know of?
Yeah, he's got a business and he didn't want to leave South Florida.
Did he tell you that?
Yep,
Yeah,
What did he
business
tell
a
you
what?
that?
Did want to leave South
he's
Florida?
telling me it all the time.
What did he say?
He says he's got a business he's running down here and he can't get the time off of work.
There
Do you know
is some
Tom's
truth to
birthday?
that.
Yeah, May
Do you know the date?
18th.
I'm sorry?
18th.
You know what year he was born?
I don't remember offhand.
1958 sound right?
That sounds right.
Was birthday?
Did you ever, we talked about your trips to some degree. Did you ever spend any of the major holidays with Tom?
Well-
Let's say last 20 years.
What, go to his house on Christmas Day? Is that what you're talking about?
Anywhere. Did you physically visit with each other on any major holidays in the last 20 years or so?
Yes,
When's the last time you spent a holiday with Tom?
probably 2020,
And what holiday was that?
Christmas.
Oh,
We would go to Mount Outdoor has a beautiful Christmas hallmark and the whole 9 yards. And we would come down, we would make sure we come down for a vacation or 4 days down there during either the last week of November or the first week of December for the light show,
I was gonna say,
the
wasn't
boat
that
shows and all
Because
that
we were
good
here
stuff.
in May.
So who was
2020.
present at that
Because everything that
2020
was opening up
Christmas
that
gathering?
and you and I were here for
Outdoor.
Thanksgiving 2020.
Myself,
Right.
Carol, and Tom.
Was he here for Christmas? Did he come up here? He might have.
I think he
When's the
went
last holiday that you spent with physically with Tom before Christmas in 2020?
That was it.
So you hadn't spent. Did I'm hearing you right that you had not spent a holiday physically with Tom in the last 20 years, except for Christmas in 2020?
No, every year that he had Mount Dora, we would come
Oh.
down.
Oh,
Every,
you spent. Go ahead.
every year we would come down to Mount Dora between whether it be the last week in November or the first week in December,
Oh, he's catching
from the
himself.
whole time that he had the condo.
Real quick, and then we'll take a break.
Five minutes. Rob, you gonna switch it to my phone now?
They're not done yet.
What do you mean, I
He said real quick, and then we're gonna take a break. Is that another question? You're listening to us suck.
I don't think I'm up for an assessment, but thank you.
You share the screen here. Can everybody see this? These text images, the image of text that are on the screen right now? Should be.
We see it.
Yeah, okay. Madam Reporter, I don't think I'm going to mark the complaints just yet, but let's go ahead and mark this as Exhibit 1, okay?
So, Mr., not Madam.
I'm sorry, I get the confused with our videographer.
No, I've never seen that.
So this is paid. These are.
I never saw that.
I'm going to go. There are 5 pages of text here. I'm going to go through each one of these, and let me know if you need me to blow them. In fact, let me make them bigger. All right. So this first page, you're saying you've never seen these texts?
Yeah.
And for the record, these documents have never been produced to us, and we have no knowledge as to when the name Mark Sell Asshole Brother was changed in the cell phone. Could have been after his death, for all we know.
Move to strike, sir.
I'm saying for the record, this document's never been produced.
You don't need to say anything for the record.
I can say whatever I want for the record.
No,
and I'm gonna say
you're
for the record.
coaching the witness.
I'm not coaching the witness on anything.
You need
I'm
to,
saying
you need
for
to
the
stand
record.
down, counsel. Stand down. Let me examine.
Sir, let me talk.
You got an issue with discovery, then bring it up with the court.
Sir, I'm going to say for the record, this is the first time we're seeing this document. It has never been produced in discovery.
What is it?
Ask your questions.
I don't know. I was in the bathroom.
All right. So
You don't have
you-
very good
sir,
listening skills.
You're saying you've never seen this page of text, right?
It's your fucking money in your case.
We'll
You
go to
need
the next
pay
page.
attention.
And I'm going to need to blow that
We don't
up
use
some.
that kind of language
so
around
you
here,
can
lady.
see part of it. Looks like there
Let's
were
go.
images within the text.
So are you gonna do the phone?
They're not done
Well,
yet.
I'm blowing
I have to
it
wait
up.
for them to go off.
I don't understand why.
Because it may not switch over because they're still
It's
on.
got directions to 2901 Parkway Boulevard, Suite 1A, Kissimmee, Florida, and then an open table image. Reserve it open table.
This is crucial.
Have you seen that before? Page 3. I'm going to bring it back.
Mark Sell Asshole Brother.
Have you ever seen these texts before?
No. That one I saw, but I didn't see Mark Sell Asshole Brother.
Okay. When did you see these texts? And there's the one at the bottom says as a date of December 29, 2021 at 4:35 p.m. says I'm here. Is
Yeah,
that
we were at a restaurant.
what do you know what restaurant? Is that the steakhouse you were telling us about?
I'm not 100% sure about that.
Is the I'm here, those items that are in gray, is that your language? Is that your texting Tom?
It may be
Well,
dress code, collar shirt, no pants, sweatpants.
was the blue that says